Game one indeed, P-Vision versus Team Spirit. And this is going to be a doozy and a half.
Oh, hell yeah. I've been waiting. This time I fully believe you. Like, this is some of the best games I think that we will see, and it is towards the end of the group stage. Very important matchup here for both the teams, because you want to go straight to the playoffs here, Shannon. You don't want to do some, other stuff, or suddenly you have to play some other team, single limb, none of those shenanigans. Play clean and move on.
And for P-Vision, that means a single game victory in this series is enough to do just that. Spirit have to 2-0, but in the meantime, they are pretty comfortable in that second position as well, and they've played extremely well in this tournament so far, despite the single game loss that they have suffered thus far. Yeah, we have some interesting picks. Kind of a last-minute switch up as noticed. Night Stalker last pick in the off lane, which moves Largo, played by no one, to the mid lane.
Honestly, a lot of very cool things here. Like, first of all, you pick the morph into the Largo because, Largo in the off lane, he doesn't pressure very much. It's one of his weaknesses. So you get a very nice morphling pick because you think he's going to do well in the lane, but then they swap it up in the end. So it's like, one-upping each other. And yeah, IO Night Stalker together. The whole P-Vision early game draft, my god, if you're Spirit, you need to play incredibly well to not get dumpstered on your map early on. There's no one with a lick on the range creep to make the Sunstrike miss. I like.
Nice little cheeky play. Does have some thick cheeks on that Largo as well.
Oh, he does.
So. But yeah, they have a lot of healing. I mean, IO, Largo on the same team, especially when it's a mid lane Largo. Like, what do we expect to see?
What we're expecting to see is early game aggression. Look at all of their lanes. Largo does very well mid against the Invoker. Night Stalker, IO as well. I guess, like, Morphling doesn't pressure much. He just wants to farm on his own. And then your safe lane is Grim Kez. Sure, it is up against a Tidehunter, but I play Tide against very good Kezes, and they can maneuver around the Anchor Smasher. Like, even though Tide is a good answer to Kez, Kez still free farms in this lane.
Yeah. So you were very excited to see the Morphling pick. I was not, of course.
Of course not, because you hate like half the Dota heroes.
No, it's just Morphling and Terrorblade. There was just a period of time for like 2 years straight that they were just picked every single game. So it's just, I need a break.
No, that's true. But you've had a break from Morph for a while. This hero's been
not
dead.
enough. Give it another year.
No. Because what I like now is that they changed like his base stats, which means you don't have to skill like attribute shift early on. It means you can go adapt the strike, you can go waveform, you can actually play pretty aggressive. They also buffed the innate more, where the more agi you have, the more attack range you have. I don't think it's like crazy changes overall, but the thing is also this is a Yatoro special. In these big tournaments you're gonna get the Yatoro Drow, Yatoro Faces, or Yatoro Morphling. So I'm all for it.
It's fun. Funny, I was excited in part to see the Morphling only because of the new set, which he did equip initially and then changed last second to this.
I mean, maybe he hasn't like played it in pubs. Like, sometimes you have a lot of this feeling where, you remind yourself when I've played this skin, I've won all these amazing games. I don't know if it's that, or if he just... Actually, it's just gonna... It's garbage.
Mostly placebo, as the Sunstrike's coming for nobody, but... Nine class will be taken out eventually by Yatoro if he can find one more right click, make it 2.
Yep.
First blood to Yatoro.
I mean, they got the level advantage and just immediately get to play off it. I think here, if you're P-Vision, this was certainly not a kill that you wanted to give up, because Night Stalker IO, early on, sure, it's not that you're gonna beat up the Morphling, but you wanna damage control control through this lane. Don't give up anything and then play aggressive in the nighttime.
And speaking of nighttime, let's talk about the Night Stalker. To me, this hero is a hit or a miss. And based on your reaction thus far, Satanic, a lot of damage. Will dodge the Sunstrike. Shadow Realm.
Very fire.
In the air. He's going to be able to survive as a result, but look at the pressure being made. We'll have to be gifted some tangos. Yeah, Night Stalker feels like it's either incredible or terrible, and there's not much in between. Has that changed at all?
I would say it's still similar, but it has a lot to do with like the overall state of the game and what tempo you can play in. And I like it a lot with the P-Vision draft this time around. Obviously, you know, you're good against Morph early on. I will say once Morph gets to like his third item, fourth item, he can just stand his ground and, you know, honestly just kind of kill you. But I do think that P-Vision are very much equipped for a good Night Stalker game.
No one in the mid lane, 21-3 versus Laurel's 14-2, so great start for P-Vision there.
Also,
so,
like
from Spirit's perspective, if you're giving the early game to P-Vision, what's their game plan?
Well, their game plan, I don't know if they can stop it as Satanic.
He's just dead. So Anchor Smash takes him out via collapse.
This is one thing that I need to talk about, because usually when you pick Tide in this matchup, it's because, you know, you get Kraken Shell, level 1, you get level 3, you have level 2 Kraken Shell, and you just kind of withstand the pressure. But they're going a completely different route. They can just play aggressive with the Dark Willow +4. Notice taking some pressure.
Away from Yatoro. Sunstrike does hit, but it's shared. Notice. Likely will be able to walk away.
Still overall a lot of pressure, but yeah, you can see the full stat build, but even so, Yatoro and Rue doing a very good job up here. But like talking about the early game, I don't know if Spirit can really push back all that much. I mean, they are doing a good job in the laning, as not me. We'll take a death to his name.
And Collapse won't be too sad about that. Gets some nice solo XP. As you can see, his CS is top 2 already in the game, so he's having himself a great lane overall. It's more action mid lane. No one, just a bit of harassment. And in terms of the 6-minute rotations for the power runes, which team do you think has the advantage?
It should be P-Vision. I think just simply the fact that, so you have no one mid who's winning the lane. I also like what he has queued up currently. You know, phase boots into an urn, probably a vessel. As 9 Class is here with a play.
Yeah, Laurel, good timing from 9 Class. Gets all the spirits right on top of his face with the frog stomp to help out. Good kill from P-Vision.
Very, very nice moves. You can see in the meantime also notice that he has perfect lane control. This was right before the nighttime. So if you're P-Vision and 9 Class, you kind of have free real estate. You want to keep playing with the frog at mid, you want to rotate to Noticed up top later again. You absolutely can do either.
Well, Nightmare. This is going to be a pretty difficult hero to take out, especially with the IO nearby. No one. Ice Wall not going to be there, really, but they get the Brambles as not me making the rotation. That was needed. And 9 Class.
That's right.
Strike does destroy him, so 2 kills from Laurel. So despite that death, he's right back in the driver's seat.
Cannot stress enough how much these early kills actually matter, because P-Vision, they have a super aggressive early draft, and if they're in a good position, they can definitely run you over. So very, very big counterplay here on their respawn.
And talk to me about this Grim. I mean, normally we think of 2 things, which is the Inkswell targets.
Yep.
And, well, we don't really think of Soulblind targets as often because I feel like that's kind of an icing on the cake. It's more the Aghanim Scepter later in the game, the Dark Portrait.
Yeah, it's definitely a big bonus. I think, first of all, I like Grim a lot more than, you know, what the hero used to be. I think with the innate, where if you click people or if you have any spells on them, you see them in the fog, it makes it super nice and easy to trade. Satanic.
Oh boy.
Yeah, he's gone.
You don't even need the Sunstrike. This lane is going swimmingly.
All right, Spirit are getting some outplays on the lanes currently. As hold
top
that.
Lane, yep, Silence right on top of Laurel, so his double kill will be thwarted, nullified as the tier 1 tower. Now being pressured from P-Vision.
This is a very, very heads-up move from Noticed. I love that. Like, Morphling in the top lane, sure, if you go up against him, it's like a 1v1 farm fest in terms of the CS, but if you go mid, what is more Morphling's answer. And what is Tidehunter's answer? They don't want to move from their lanes.
Yeah. Titanic left alone for the time being. Gonna get stunned under his tier 1, but happy to farm away at the moment.
I think also, so what's nice with Grimstroke is we've seen a lot more people go for like the silence, which is quite nice against the Tidehunter. But like on all of this, losing your tier 1 mid tower minute 7 in a greedy draft that's a big deal.
Yeah, for sure. Might be in some trouble again. Satanic getting ganked now from Yatoro. Coming through the gate. Sunstrike does hit, but you can see Collapse is the one taking the brunt here as more rotations via no one with all the heals to work with. You can see the power of this Largo, already level 7. Usually in the offlane, you're not going to be able to do anything like this. Probably wouldn't have the ultimate by now.
Absolutely not. He'd be lower level than this, but Rue did a very good job. He stole the enemy Wisdom Shrine, then TP's bottom and takes his own. And I do think that when you're the team that needs time, stealing a Wisdom Shrine is so damn strong. Like, because it is the supports, they need to back up the course to make the moves in the early game. And so both 9-class and Ducalis definitely will be slowed down here.
And what is the theory behind the IO pick, other than the fact that you have this double heal core, well not core, but...
First of all, I think the hero is very good. It's also a hero that is nearly perma-banned against P-Vision, and it works so well in this draft and with how you also want to play at the moment.
Titanic, he's going to take the Ravage, Sunstrike as well, so another death for the Chicken Man. And that's 3 for Satanic already. And Collapse continuing to dominate this lane, despite that little death he had earlier, is going to be very happy with how things are progressing so far for Spirit. Ducalis trying to find his way in the tree line, but Collapse and company, they will surround and take him out.
Okay, yeah, a lot of these early moves. I do think that Spirit are getting more out of this early game than honestly they deserve. Getting multiple kills in this bottom lane, trading the top for the bottom pressure at the moment, and taking P-Vision's safe lane power. I'm not gonna lie, they should be very happy with how the game is going at the moment.
But we've had P-Vision games where even behind, it doesn't feel like they're rushed at all. And if they get to that mid to late game, especially with the likes of Ked, I mean, how good is their late game? Because just looking at the heroes, it doesn't seem... No, Jinxwell not going to be there in time.
Nice timing on the TP. Their late game is still honestly quite good. Like, you've got Grim against Morph. It's a good illusion. Obviously, it depends a lot also on like the itemization. Can you force your Toro to like buy a butterfly MKB where then the illusion kind of owns himself, or is it going to be something different? But a lot of Night Stalker drafts is also about the mid game, the post laning stage. Because if you're P-Vision and you run somewhere, let's hold that 9-class in the Bramble.
Full Bedlam, 9-class actually dead. Straight up. It's going to be a trade.
Will be a 1-for-1. But yeah, Night Stalker owns the minute to 20 mark. He's usually like the king of the map, just using your ult against these heroes like Bane, Willow, Invoker. None of these heroes can really stand their ground early on, so even if P-Vision are slightly behind early on, I would absolutely expect them to take over the map within the next couple of minutes.
Yeah, notice working on a Blink Dagger as his first main item after the drums. So just looking to be ultra aggressive. We'll see how that works out for him. I mean, it kind of aligns with what their lineup wants to do. This does seem very early-centric overall.
Yeah.
With a little bit of Kez in the late game.
Because they definitely, like, eventually what they want to reach is like the IO Largo together as, let's see, we have got a sleeve set up, but I think this is more pressure than really anything else. Because they don't have the easiest playmake, right, on P-Vision. If you're Spirit, you're happy. Keeping a very stale map where not much is happening. Tide bottom, Yatoro stays top. Most of the plays kind of have to be initiated through the Night Stalker. And him having to go drums playing, it's not a bad build by any means, but it is very early game centric.
And does the build change at all for any of these heroes based on the positions? Like Largo, for example, has a Soul Ring going for Spirit Vessel. We don't see that in an offlane very often. Typically, okay, Terrorize onto 3 with the Sunstrike. It is going to hit the IO, and that's the death of 9 class.
Very nice job. He's just protecting their own area. As not quite done yet, as Laurel throwing out a random tornado into the Meteor.
Yeah, looks like Not Me will be the eventual trade of supports.
We have revenge tonight.
Okay, still, we're seeing some really good things. Like, this is just players understanding kind of the limit that they can play on. You know, Not Me in the jungle gets a Terrorize into the Bedlam just with a Sunstrike combo. And while it is a 1-for-1 trade, it gives a lot of space to Team Spirit.
Collapse can take a nice juicy stack here, though, with the help of the Meteor Hammer from Laurel.
Also gonna have the Consecrated Wrap soon, and while they do have good heroes to like deal with what Spirit have, need to say it again, I do think that this current state of the game is beneficial for Spirit.
Yep, first grip of the game, Adaptive Strike with the Sunstrike as well, lots of strikes in fact. Waveform to finish the job, and Ducalis a little bit too late to the party. Won't suffer the consequences though.
Yeah, nice play. I do think that Rue is, like I said before, he's getting off a lot of good plays. First, the double Wisdom Shrine steal. You get a lot of stacks going for your Tide. Now finding this play on notice close to his tier 1 tower.
So after the Meteor Hammer, it's going to be Boots of Travel for Laurel, and of course the Blink for the Tide after the Consecrated Wraps. Nothing too crazy.
I'm still looking at how P-Vision want to progress the map currently. Of course, you have IO, you have Night Stalker ult available. It looks like they are eyeing Collapse here.
Yeah, very tanky with the Wraps. We're going to see the nighttime come from Noticed, and he's going to be able to get the slow with the Void. Terrorize is coming. It hits 2 as Collapse. That's enough distance to get away. Nicely done from Not Me.
See if they can turn this into something else. Relocate up top, but doesn't really look like it.
Yeah, Spirit able to dodge 2 sides of the map now.
Need to commend Spirit on their map play here. Like, a lot of the time when they want to keep an open map, they're playing like a 2-1-2 split. You have one of the cores that is always bodied by one of the supports. Saw it there with Not Me down bottom, very good Terrorize, and at the same time, Rue up top protecting Yatoro.
And 9 class.
Needs the target.
Bramble, Sunstrike, should be a kill. Nicely done from Spirit. Collapse actually changing his itemization. So after the Wraps, we'll be going for a Yules. Very interesting.
Okay, I mean, it is obviously a good way for him to, first of all, gives you a relocate cancel, which is quite nice later on. And I think also when this Night Stalker like runs on you, you can Yule him, then still find a position to also get the Ravage off for yourself. So actually, I don't really mind it. It's also a good item when you want to play like a more open map, right? You get more mana regen, a little bit more move speed. If they gank you, it's easier for you to get away. No one hasn't really found a real entry into this game yet. He does have the Vessel available and will get the 14-minute active rune.
Yeah, that's true. I feel like Largo, once he gets that second item is when he really starts to pop off. I mean, question is, does that change with the build that he's actually going? Because Spirit Vessel, like we said, is not the norm. You're going to see Kaya, you're going to see Ags.
Yeah, I think it's still going to be like the Kaya, maybe some Kaya Sanj if he wants. You could look at a Lotus potentially. I think it's quite good against both the supports. Like if we look at both Bane and Willow, they don't really have any counterplay. If you pre-Lotus, Bane can't really play. If there's a Terrorize, you can always take that off as well. But at least, even though there's been a lot of games that went, or a lot of kills rather, that went Spirit's way. It is only a 2k gold lead.
True.
Interesting. He just got to TP away. I don't know if the Inkso wasn't available, but not me. Getting out scot-free, even with the relocate being used during all of this.
Mech now online for 9 class. It's so weird to see him play these kind of... I mean, not that IO is a standard. It's not a 9 class.
No, like his Kala and IO, I do think like over time, this guy got to calibrate, you know, from being the weirdo hipster monkey guy who just jumps around on trees. He's starting to definitely develop his overall hero pool.
Kala makes a little bit more sense just because you can kind of roam free, you can be greedy with farm. IO, you not really being
I guess the thing with IO nowadays is that you can play it again with maxing spirits. It's quite good. So if you do have a good lane, you can kind of do this, or when the game slows down, you can just farm some cams and be chilling. He was also like some 25-game win streak, as hold that for a moment, Satanic.
Yeah, already uses the Echo Slash and Collapse. It's going to be hard to do this without Rue. Will he be spotted? There's the Fiend's Grip. They get everything they need. Just the single Fiend's Grip is more than enough. So a great pickoff for Spirit. As noticed, able to get out just fine. They're going to turn their sights on a not me. So it'll be a support for a carry. Not exactly what you would write home about if you're P-Vision, as no one's going to get gushed. Tornado not going to hit. They get the EMP though, and now no one out of mana is going to pop the wall. No big Ravage coming out from Collapse, hitting 3 as 9 class gets the mech, keeping no one safe for the time being, but he dies shortly after. Noticed. He's going to get nightmared. Is that just in time for the relocate? That was really close as Notice dies as a result. So 2 core kills in favor of Spirit. 3 if you count the Kez from earlier. 9 class comes back with the relocate. And the Tornado is going to clip him. And Ducalis is linked up for the time being. That's going to be a 4th kill overall. And likely a full team wipe in favor of Spirit. Absolutely disgusting display from them.
Yeah, just the understanding that they're pressuring bottom, and they do attack mid at the same time because they know if something happens there, they can TP over. I also didn't quite spot what happened at the end with the sleep on Notice. I don't know if Rue got like a dodge on like the overall relocate towards the very end. But I think just the understanding here that after killing bottom, you can still fight mid, and obviously there's reinforcements, right? You see Collapse, he's like TPing over and making this happen because, yeah, I think P-Vision, they're definitely struggling here.
Oh, bottom. Oh, boy. We got some trouble for Satanic. Trying to kill off Laurel. He is taking down. He does fall. This is really close, though. Satanic will go down to the anchor smash. So another death. I mean, yes, they lose the Invoker, but that's 5 deaths on Kez already. They're going to turn things onto Collapse now. His rotation's coming through. He's outnumbered, but he is quite tanky. Not me in the area with the Bramble. Still has Terrorize at the ready. Just the threat of that's going to be enough for him to be able to walk away.
Yeah, they're not dealing any damage really to Collapse with the build that he currently has. We'll say though, the play that Satanic got here, definitely worth it for him. Like, you're behind. I think there was a streak on Laurel. He got like 600 gold. And like you said, he has 5 deaths, but his net worth is still very, very good on the Kez. Obviously, you'd prefer not to be 1,000 gold behind Yotoro's Morphling. Needless to say, that guy is the hero of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Yotoro now with the Manta style. To go along with the Vlads that he picked up earlier will be a Hurricane Pike. And yeah, I wanted to ask about the itemization in terms of late game versus the Grimstroke. Do you avoid certain items? He looks like he has Butterfly queued up.
I mean,
is that the right choice?
You want to avoid going Butterfly and MKB together as they're finding it
linked into the Crippling Fear. TP is coming. He gets the attribute shift off. There's the Raptor Dance. It's more than enough. As the Terrorize a little bit too slow. Notice gets the kill. Big one onto Yotoro. First death of the game.
Honestly, I'm happy for them that they find this play, because their draft absolutely can do this. Probably could have done that even earlier as well. Noticed, looking on Not Me. He was very quick on the silence.
Get gushed for his efforts, though. Now stuck inside the bramble. Double root indeed. Sunstrike not needed. Well, they get the trade. Obviously not the one the Spirit wanted, but still. Could be worse for sure. Like you said, they should not be up in this early game, or at least that was not the plan for P-Vision.
They're gonna bleed another hero here on Ducalis. But yeah, to go back to the Morphling itemization, so we see that Yatoro has a Pike queued up. You need to play with Pike or BKB against Night Stalker, very important. Wait, hold up, they're not done yet.
Oh no, Satanic, another grip reserved for him. Sunstrike, there's the Ravage. Io trying to heal him up, but it's not enough. 6 deaths on Kez. As they're going to try to turn this around a little bit. Notice does find himself a support, but now a Meteor coming for the Frog, into the Gush, into the Anchor Smash, and into the Death. So it's just dominoes falling over and over for P-Vision.
This is without Yatoro. I don't know how Collapse does this sometimes. Remember the Axe game he played the other day against Necro? Like, he's top net worth again on this Tide. Obviously, Tide is incredible against Io when you get there and you don't have to play against like Io Slark, Io Ursa, like these combos that kind of own you. But still, like, it's another one of these performances where also Rue, there's some overperforming going on from these players.
Absolutely. I mean, when's the last time you saw Satanic die 6 times before the 20-minute mark? That is a rarity.
It's definitely been a while, but they just have their number in a lot of these plays right now.
Yeah, and like you said, Yatoro hasn't been needed in these fights, really. He's shown up for a couple here and there, but for the most part, just been left uncontested.
It matters a lot because when you have this Morphling come out, like, they have heroes that can deal with Morph. I would say more so in like the early game and the mid game. You can collapse on him with the relocates, with the Night Stalker Silence. But the more you get to like the mid game, the 20-minute mark, the 25-minute mark, Morphling starts itemizing against Night Stalker to not die. Like, first of all, it's to farm, but then it's to survive. So this is absolutely not the spot they want to be in.
Yeah. Well, see if Satanic can make a comeback. We have seen many of those for this lineup. Again, they have yet to lose a single game at this tournament so far. They're going to turn things right on top of Laurel. He gets demolished. Relocate used. Satanic desperately needing that kill.
Well, and that is the power of some of, you know, their overall mobility. You have Night Stalker, you've got the relocate.
Oh, this is great news. They can go for Roche.
Yep,
they don't have to worry about Invoker for 40 seconds.
You just got the fresh Desolator.
So where's Collapse? That's all we care about.
He is alive. He's got Blink. He's got Yules.
Oh, boy.
Guys, we know the drill.
Little early. Collapse. Instinctual. Goes into the pit, pops the Kraken Shell, gonna dodge the entirety of the Raptor dance as Roche is not happy with this display.
Oh, it's daytime now.
He's gonna try to go for Roche himself. He's already at half HP. Noah's gonna get a silence on the back line. Grimstroke ult connecting a bit as Satanic. He's pretty low, gets connected by 9 class, and Collapse still working on this Roche, and he's getting quite low himself. They're away from him. Yatoro gets the Aegis. They get the kill as well. And now 9 class will suffer the consequences along with Satanic with his 7th death as Spirit. The Roche defenders, so good at it. Ducalis will be another one to fall for P-Vision. Technically wasn't Collapse stealing it, but he did start the trend here.
He's always the reason why this team gets Roche one way or the other. Like, either he steals it or he makes 5 people hate him, and then Yatoro's like, don't worry, bro. I got the security.
A single casual waveform just taking that for himself. All the hard work was Collapse.
And this is the stuff that you're going to see in like the most high skill matches, like understanding that you can go here, and even though you're not fully like stopping them from roshing, or like you're not going to be stealing it, you make so much time. It turns into the daytime. Look at how much space and like effort he's just tanking overall. Notice as well, he's forced to jump in during the daytime, and then Yatoro's like, yeah bro, nice layup, I got this one.
Well, they do get him, which is probably therapeutic if nothing else, but Yatoro basically had nothing to do other than wait for him, and then he could just clean up.
Oh man.
The table was set by Collapse, and Yatoro went ham. He devoured that buffet.
Now it's a 10k lead with the Aegis on hand. Want to see what type of like plan even that P-Vision are looking for here. Definitely not an easy game to execute from this point onward. They do still have a lot of power spikes that are coming. Obviously, their scale is like, you know, nothing bad at all. You have Largo, you have Night Stalker, you have Kez. If you can get a couple of BKBs going your way, I think that would be one kind of timing that they'll be looking for. And of course, the Dookie Duke Aghanim Scepter on the Grimstroke, always very good against the Morphling.
Is Satanic going to have double-digit deaths this game?
He very likely could. He's at 7.
He's not far off. He's going to need to turn this around if P-Vision are going to hold on at all. And remember, they only need a single game in this series to secure top of the groups here.
Yeah, Spirit ain't having any of that. They like to place very high and well at EWC. I want to get the 2-0 here.
A Spirit with the Aegis for another 2.5 minutes.
Jules as well on
how much do they want to get out of this? Obviously, just taking the Roche in general is a great deny.
Yeah. No, I believe that they should be getting, instead of 2.5 minutes, there's a very high chance you're getting all the tier 2s and outpost control, which then just gives you the overall map. There's no need to really push for a Rax. You could hit the high ground to force people back, but I think closing out all the tier 2s would be the main objective.
Yeah.
As Collapse found himself stuck in a tree line.
It happens.
Not as bad as one of the PGLs where he got stuck on a cliff for 6 minutes. I feel like that was maybe also Tidehunter. I think he just ended up using a Ravage because nothing happened.
I vaguely remember that. Usually it's Arteezy, but...
No, Collapse doing his best effort to take the record of the Cliffman.
Still tier 2s up and running for P-Vision.
Cute little animation on the Froggy Frog. Want to see later, you know, because you can turn into the Largo, maybe steal the Croak, give it to Larl if you want. I don't know if that's like his main target. I think turning into the Kez is also pretty chill if you want. Of course, Night Stalker, you can steal the Silence.
I mean, surely he doesn't want to turn into Largo in a fight. It's not, can't be that good.
You can steal the spell and like Croak
I'm
and
not
just
saying
turn
it's
around.
bad, it's just that surely there's better options. Like even the Night Stalker would be better, I would think.
Honestly, I don't really know. I think if you want to make Larl pop off, which I don't know if you need to help him do that, because you're already owning anyway.
He ain't no support. That's a Morphling carry right there, tell you what.
Let's see a Toro though, bro. He's big picture type of player.
It's true.
But honestly, at this point too, I think his ult is kind of a bonus. He might just go rampant even without it. As 50 seconds left on the Aegis, did clear every single tier 2 tower, and they picked up a gem.
What's the Aghanim Scepter timing here? Oh my god, I was actually memeing, but he has a greedy enchantment on Grimstroke, so he's only 1,000 away from Dark Portrait already. That's kind of crazy.
I mean, Grim farms fast. You can clear waves with Inkswell.
Still. Now they find themselves a little Night Stalker meal.
Yeah.
Delicious treat. And this is what I'm talking about with Night Stalker. If the game doesn't go extremely well early, this hero feels like it feels bad to have on your team. Like you might as well have just picked any other offlaner.
They definitely expected this game to go better because Night Stalker, even with not the best early game, if you find ways to go on the enemy draft, like collapse on a guy, you have the relocate. I do think that maybe it has a bit to do that no one is playing Largo. Usually he's, I think, a lot more of a playmaker for the team, set up the tempos, set up the place overall, like get all the relocates going. But this time,
a little bit too cute from P-Vision.
I mean, maybe. Like, you did last pick this Night Stalker to make a lot of things, you know, happen in this early to mid game, and I don't really think that happened. As Toro, with the end of the Aegis, going for a lot of pressure.
Yeah, we'll get the tower. Well, it is fortified, so maybe not. They're going to play it safe. 13k lead has truly ballooned after that Roche fight.
Yeah, and
now Shiva is online for Laurel.
You have full map control. As P-Vision, they still have 2 pretty good wards out. You can see the one here on no one and one on the bottom side of the map, but Collapse, walking around with a 13k gold lead and a gem, you will soon say goodbye to most of your map.
Laurel finds himself a frog now. Delicious treat after delicious treat. Even a Fiend's Grip, this BKB completely useless against that combo. And 9 class, don't think they spotted him. Just on the outskirts of the dust.
He's taking the correct way. He's got a couple more seconds. We'll make it out.
Yeah, it has the Holy Locket, Glimmer Cape, and Mech. And for no one, saw that BKB. It'll be Ags next, so... Man, this is tough to see a comeback without Kez going crazy.
At this point, my eyes are on the Dark Portrait.
That's
I
true.
think you get the Morphling illusion. I'm pretty sure if you're 9 you're tethering that one. You're not tethering a hero anymore. You're tethering that illusion and trying to make it go ham. The only thing with Morph Illusion is it's honestly, like, it doesn't have the highest HP. Of course, it's going to have a Butterfly, which at that point, it's going to be quite strong. Root trying to set up, but of course, Night Stalker, notice, just kidding.
Collapse with the Yules. And this has really paid for itself over and over. Not me gets that one.
That's why, like,
dagger.
top tier vision is so, like, there's so many small things going into it. Like, look at Spirit, they're warding their own triangle because when you're up this much gold, you understand that the enemy team, they need to start being creative. They're gonna farm your top jungle, they're gonna try to squeeze in here or there. Without this ward, you're not finding this kill on a random Night Stalker in your own triangle. But this is just game sense and understanding of what the enemy team can do.
Well, they have the Ags, so the question is, do they just wait for Spirit to come high ground, although there's no Aegis, so they really aren't in any rush. Do they go for a smoke play? It's going to align with the Butterfly, which, weirdly enough, the Grimstroke is going to be kind of happy about.
Yeah, at least about this timing, it's definitely one of the ones you're happier about. I would assume if you're P-Vision, I don't know if you need to smoke necessarily right now, but you need to be contesting the second Roach. That's going to be the name of the game currently. We're also, you see them use a relocate in the top lane, you know, push out some more waves, squeeze in a little more gold, try and get no one closer to his Aghanim Scepter.
And Laurel just looking for anyone to leave the base for P-Vision. No one connected to Io. Gonna lick off Collapse. The rest of his team nearby. There's the Yules.
They want to force something
To the
here.
Bramble, into the Anchor, and they get a Nightmare onto the Kez with a Grip as well. Meteors, everything used. Satanic is already dead. They couldn't get anything going for P-Vision. They're gonna lose some buildings.
Again, it's just perfect setup. They have a ward on the, you know, the gate outside the base. They see Satanic walk in immediately and they just get it. This is 40 seconds down without him. No relocate available anymore as well. This is a free Rax.
Yeah, not even Dark Portrait used. It's daytime. They find another Yules play onto the Grimstroke. Will he even have time to use the Dark Portrait? No. 45 seconds with no Ducalis.
This is bad
This
news,
is two
Shannon.
sets at the very least, if not more.
Honestly, I think without the Grim available, even if Kez respawns, you can just keep going.
And another Anchor, this time onto Aya with the damage coming out from the Dark Willow as well. Sunstrike not needed yet again because the damage is overwhelming for Spirit now.
All right, who's dying next? Let's keep up the 1-by-1 train.
Well, I want to see the Dark Portrait at least once. He's going to be up in 15 seconds. This is an Alacrity Morphling.
Just a
Now,
casual
for
460
the Mega
damage.
Creeps. Yeah, no big deal. An Aghanim Scepter by Laurel. Okay. This is going to be Cataclysm, it looks like.
Yeah, you've got the Ravage. You know that some people are definitely going to be stacked up. There's no summons, no illusions to tank any of that. As the Spirit will play this very cleanly, get nearly everything apart from one melee Rax. Now Roche, of course, is going to be theirs for the taking.
Radiant are scanning.
Satanic, we've seen this so many times. The only one not smoked right now.
Are scanning.
They are
And
scanned
end up
out.
showing. Yeah, they are aware, but again, Spirit at the major advantage now. 30 seconds till road. Obviously, just wait for that.
Dire's top tower is under
Man, it's just a tough one to also contest here. Like, how do you do it? You know, Spirit, they have outpost control. Of course, there aren't any buybacks available yet for them, but even so, like, you have incredibly fat heroes. Yatoro as well, getting very close to a Skadi. You have Rue, who's getting close to an Aghanim Scepter. Also, I love that Collapse. In my opinion, this is an underbought item, the Krellos Crozier. Like, just the passive where you reduce enemies like health restoration by 30%.
Yeah.
We see a lot of Kados, we see a lot of Necros, there's Ios in the game. It's like also you go very fast, you have a Ghost Scepter. It's quite nice. I do think this is an item we should see more, especially when there's heals in the game.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
There's the Roshan Belch, one of your favorites.
That's right, P-Vision, they're going to try to go for this, but the Spirit are already ready. They're going to try to go onto the Dark Willow to start things out. Looking for the Ravage is collapsed. Going to reset a little bit. Pops a Crozier. Buyback instantly from the Dark Willow. So P-Vision get a single kill. Can they get more?
Relocate.
No one with the BKB. Noticed. Also pounding the Dark Willow, but there's a grip this time reserved for the Frog. Going to be canceled, but eventually Yatoro just finishes the job. Double kill for him. They already called GG. They know this is over. As a Cataclysm is going to be there for style points. Triple kill for Yatoro. Make it an Ultra and make it a Rampage. Beast mode enabled for Yatoro and the likes of Spirit, who are now one game away from securing themselves #1 in the game.
Oh, this is going to be a spicy next game because Spirit, they are like, this is some prime form. You know, they bust out the Morphling after a long time. I think Rue as well had a lot of small but crazy plays in this game, starting from the Wisdom Shrine, setting up all the correct, you know, sleeps into the grips around the map. And if you're P-Vision, I think you definitely did not get going the way you wanted, especially with this early draft, like the Io, the Largo, the Night Stalker, you didn't really get any plays going. Spirit, masterclass.
Felt like it was a little all-in on the early game for P-Vision. If things didn't go picture perfect, that they were going to suffer the consequences, and they did just that. In the last second switch to Largo mid, Night Stalker offlane, talked about it. If Night Stalker doesn't have a good time, he is a completely useless hero in the mid to late game.
Yeah.
They have to be the ones that are setting the pace, but that was not the case here.
Definitely big credit to Spirit. If you're P-Vision also, you need to step up. Like the gameplay, it has to go up. Like what Spirit did in these lanes, I think is not normal. Like 304 deaths on Satanic's Kez in the safe lane by like minute 10. Yatoro having a full free game. He has 1 death to his name. You picked offlane Night Stalker to at least pressure this Morphling a bit or play with more relocates. They did not get those plays going.
No. A lot of Sunstrikes hit and collapse. I mean, again, despite the scoreline, 4-2 doesn't look that impressive. This guy absolutely owned this game on the Tidehunter. That Roche play, which we'll get the highlight, I'm sure, coming up next.
Oh, this better be a highlight, bro.
It is just sickening how consistent he is at doing this. Didn't get the Aegis steal himself because they killed Roche and he died first, but Yatoro was the greedy boy and took it for himself.
There just has to be like a rule. When this guy is alive, you need to either kill him first, stop roaching, find him, do something. Because you know that this team, it doesn't matter if someone is dead, if there's something they don't have. If they have just a sliver of any type of chance to contest, they will be there.
And they will almost always, I mean, I wonder what their percentage is.
It's too much.
Their success rate at taking the Aegis. It is absolutely absurd. As we go to the panel.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Something in the air indeed, Brian. There's something in the air for Collapse at EWC. It's just magical.
Yeah, there's been a lot of series so far where we go in with a team that we're like, on paper they could win, but in general the results have just gone the way that we would have expected, and this was such a pleasant, I wouldn't even say it's like a surprise, but I'm like excited to see that Team Spirit won that game, because first off, if they lost game 1, then game 2 wouldn't have mattered. Now we're effectively in a best of 1 to decide who wins the group, but that was an awesome high-level performance from Team Spirit. It was honestly a good performance from both sides, but I think they threw more punches effectively in the early game.
Yeah, the story of this game was, can Team Spirit weather the storm? Because we saw this really strong early mid-game timing from the double sustain heroes from P-Vision, but they didn't have to weather the storm. They were the storm. They were setting the tempo at some point in that early game. They made all these tiny little moves at the start that we're going to look at earlier. We're going to look at later that gave them a bit of that lead, but P-Vision just could not play into them at a certain point, and I really liked they were able to bring their Morphling through the gate and play off of him early on. And P-Vision, they were definitely caught off surprise.
Yeah, I know we're gonna look at how Spirit will be able to set the pace, but I wonder why P-Vision was not. Because is it the Largo? We haven't seen them do Largo mid before, Brian. Did you feel like it played out the way you wanted it to? Obviously, it lost, but did you feel like it still had the impact that P-Vision wanted from it?
I mean, I thought what was really cool about the Largo mid was that, you know, we were talking about pregame, is Largo going to rotate to Morphling's lane? Or like, how are they going to do this? But they actually brought the Night Stalker IO to Largo's lane, so they almost treated him like he was an offlaner in the sense of how they rotated the early game. I don't think the Largo was meant to have, like, it wasn't the pick that was meant to win them the draft. Like, the Largo was rotated to mid, I think, in order to enable this Night Stalker, but at the end of the day, it did not have the impact you wanted because you bought this Vessel, and you did get one crucial kill on Yaturo's Morphling before his Manta came out, but you know, you mentioned that, like, why weren't they aggressive? I honestly feel like there were so many small plays from Team Spirit, whether it's Yaturo going through the gate, whether it's Rue going towards the mid lane. Like, there were just so many cool rotations. And, like, this was by far the most enjoyable early game for me to watch. Like, I know Team Spirit came out on top, but there were just, it was literally like watching a fight where they're just throwing punches back and forth nonstop.
Yeah, and I do think they just showed up very heavily on lanes today on Team Spirit. Like, for P-Vision's draft to work, and we could have seen an entirely different game if the lanes hadn't gone so well. They needed to get a couple of the early game kills, group up early, and take advantage of Team Spirit's heroes needing more scaling and more time. But that lane on top with Bane and Morphling actually ended up doing really well against the Night Stalker, which maybe they didn't factor in. And that Tidehunter also had a fantastic lane. So you had two side lanes that won, and sure, you got a kill on Invoker in the early game, but because the side lanes were able to move their supports around, Invoker also had a good start.
Yeah, so let's take a look at those moves that the supports were making, because those were instrumental to having Team Spirit be in this position.
Yeah, I just want to shout out Rue in specific because he was everywhere on this Bane, but this is him setting up for the kill on No One's Largo after Laurel had died in that early game. And we see Not Me also joining from the side, but this was essential for Laurel to get back into the game after him getting killed earlier on. And this isn't the only time we're going to see Rue pop off here in this early game. He actually goes and steals the Wisdom Rune, enabling Team Spirit to get a double Wisdom Rune. He actually just walked for free behind the Ion Night Stalker and did the last second Nightmare. In this clip, we're going to see Not Me catching Satanic's Kez with that last second Bramble, clipping him, and then they were able to take advantage of Tidehunter's level 6. In this clip, we also see Not Me just getting the kill on Io between 4 heroes, and sure, they get the trade, but that is a trade you take anytime, Brian.
Yeah, and meanwhile, throughout all of this, we see at 12 minutes into the game, they're taking like a 5-stack Ancients. I'm just looking at all these early game rotations, and I'm like, when did he find the time on to stack these camps 5 times amongst all of these ganks? The fact that they were able to, like Mira said, they had a good start to the top lane that allowed Rue to effectively rotate between mid and bottom, and then also in the meantime be stacking a camp. Like, there's just so many little factors that ended up there, and I think, for me, it's obviously Rue's a very good player. I think he massively overperformed this game. Like, this is the type of thing we talked about in the pregame, which is that any player at any point for Team Spirit can step up. I feel like multiple players at multiple different points stepped up, and for Rue specifically, this might have been one of the best early games I've ever witnessed.
So where do we want P-Vision to take this? Because this was an outplay, right? Because we looked at the draft, we're like, okay, on paper, this should be P-Vision early and then Spirit late. That's kind of like their plan, and it turned out to be Spirit all the way, basically. So with the plan of P-Vision, there wasn't much wrong with it, per se. How are you going to adjust from it? This is also their first loss, Effie, so we don't know how they do with adjustments.
It very much was. I do think this is not the most difficult adjustment because their draft was very one note. It's like, we have sustain, we're going to run at you, and we're going to heal, and you're not going to be able to do anything with your late game. It's just a matter of making sure that you can fight at all stages of the game, and they could just change up their mid hero, not have a Largo, have something like an Ember Spirit that can play tempo, and it would make it easier.
I mean, based on what Team Spirit's done this event, which is like good performances, but nothing mind-blowing, if I was P-Vision after that game, I'd be like, okay, you got us. Like, I was not ready for you. Came ready to play today, guys. I'll just say that I always appreciate the little item choices that players make. This was a really cool Yule's pickup from Collapse on Tide. It's so amazing defensively against the Silence of Grimstroke as well as Night Stalker, but also Willow as a support. Like, if you don't have Bane there and you don't have this Yule's, there's no setup for kills on the map, but because you have this Yule's, that's what item Willow usually goes for, and it sets up all of her spells. So it kind of gave them this extra kill combo on the map, and I think P-Vision, they just weren't ready for this. I think that's why Satanic died. There were multiple times where, if I'm looking at on paper at Team Spirit's draft, I'm like, they don't really have the setup necessary in order to kill me. They have a bunch of soft disables. I'm like a mobile guy with a dispel and everything. But yeah, just well played all around.
I have a Morphling question for you, or rather a question about Morphling.
Okay.
This was the second game we saw Morphling, the first win for Morphling. Could it have been any other carry, or was the fact that Yatoro was Morphling a big deciding factor here?
I would say it was a big deciding factor, and I really liked the confidence to pick it there because I don't think many heroes could have been able to out-CS a Night Stalker like that. And also, the self-sustain and durability of a Morphling is what enables Bane to move around. Like, if it's a typical carry hero that gets bullied out of lane and needs the babysitting, you don't move around like that on Rue. So definitely a really cool pick. It was the second Morphling game at this EWC, the first win. So there's something there, Brian.
Yeah, there's like group of 5 carries. There's like Life Stealer, Morphling, Weaver, Tiny. They don't really jungle very fast, but they're also really good at staying in their lane. And you wanted a hero that, like Mira said, is self-sufficient, but also the bonus of the Morphling is against Io specifically, you want a carry that it sees a reload coming on top of it and it has an escape plan. They managed to 4-man gank him one time, but that illustrated it required a lick into a Night Stalker silence into like a perfectly timed ink swell. I mean, it was just, that was the Morphling. What he always creates is you need a very specific answer in order to be able to kill him. And Yatoro, I think better than anyone else, will recognize your draft is kind of awkward when it comes to killing Morphling. And the Night Stalker pick was amazing for P-Vision's draft, but it did not solve that individual problem unless they got momentum, which the Morphling also stopped. So I do think it was a very pivotal pick.
Yeah, I mean, there are a few heroes in Dota that even when they're not good and they're nerfed, I was talking to Brian about this in the green room, but they fill you with dread. Like, they fill you with a sense of despair when you're playing against them because you feel like you're racing against the clock. And Morphling is one of those heroes that if you don't win the early game and you look at the enemy draft and they have a Morphling, you just... all your hope and optimism is like slowly going out the drain, and I feel like that's what it... must have been for Paravision.
Well, it sounds like they have